Hey Psych Squad, it's your girl, Psyched Out Slick. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm back at it with some wild tea. We're diving headfirst into the shady world of Wayfair. Yep, that furniture store we all love to hate for never getting our furniture delivered on time. But hold up, it's not just late deliveries. We're talking missing kids' names on listed products on their website and $1 million rugs and billions in government furniture spending during a lockdown. What's the deal? Well, get comfortable, hit the like button, and let's get psyched out. Okay, let's take a quick trip down memory lane to back in July 2020. We're all stuck at home scrolling on Reddit, and bam, a post on the subreddit conspiracy blows up. Some sleuths notice Wayfair selling storage cabinets for like $12,000 to $14,000. Like, I'm sure some of you have maybe heard about this scandal. And this isn't all that we're going to be talking about. There's more. And so going back to the cabinets, they had names like Naraya, Zaritza, or Yaritza, Samaya, Olivia. Um, those aren't furniture names. Those sound like kid names. And not just any kid names, but people claim these match missing children. And you guys, these were, fancy custom pieces. We're talking basic cabinets and not to mention pillows priced like they're encrusted with diamonds. I mean, the internet lost it. They were claiming Wayfair was using these listings to traffic kids, and using the listed items as placeholders for like their human products. So it gets crazier. People linked this to Pizzagate, that 2016 conspiracy about a secret elite child trafficking ring. Video on that coming up soon, by the way. Some were even saying that Wayfair's name was a sneaky hint, so spelt differently, but waif, meaning, or spelt WAIF, meaning a stray person or homeless child, plus the word fair, spelled FARE, meaning the price charged to transport a person, as in trafficking kids. So, yeah, Wayfair now swears their name's just a brand, but still, you can't help but think it's sus. And then there's poor Samaya Mummin, who, after the conspiracy theory went viral, had to go on Facebook to say, yo, I'm not missing.
That whole article talking about I'm missing went out because basically, long story short, I got parents who don't really want to be parents, and you feel me, like just being weird, and motherfuckers know where I'm at. Motherfuckers know how that shit go for real. You know how many motherfuckers parents they said they was missing and they got kicked the fuck out? Fuck out of here. That's weird. Why post them? God damn it. Why y'all posting me?
Then there's Wayfair's response. So they were like, chill. These are just industrial grade cabinets, and the prices are legit. They yanked the listing to rename them and blamed it on bad supplier info. But I'm not buying it. Let's keep it real. A company like Wayfair, with these massive supply chain and third party vendors, they could totally hide coded listings in plain sight. It's the perfect setup for money laundering, or even worse. So after hearing all of this, I was like, all right, let's see if Wayfair is still acting sketchy. I hopped on their website, I started digging and searching for anything that just seemed like an outrageous price listing. And oh my gosh, I found insane stuff. So let's break it down. First up on our list is a professional cream whipper. So there's one listed for $215 on their website. Okay, that's a normal, decent price, I guess. But there's another similar product, almost exactly the same, just a different color. It was listed for $16,995 for a cream whipper. So I asked my pal Grok, my handy dandy AI, and it he couldn't make sense of it either. Grok was like, "Girl, this is a red flag. These things should be going for $120 to $150." And it also mentioned that Wayfair is not even a restaurant supply store, so it's odd that they are even selling this product. Next on our list is a water heater, and it's on sale. It's on sale for $25,799.99. And that is the discounted price. The original price is $31,346. I've never seen a water heater cost that much money. And here it goes Grok again. It says even fancy ones with all the bells and whistles max out at $20,000. This one's 30 to 100% overpriced. Who's dropping car money on a water heater? Please explain. Drop a comment below. Would you spend that much money on a water heater when there are similar products that are a lot cheaper? A lot cheaper. We've got a lamp. So, yeah, this lamp is listed for $66,240, discounted from $110,400. Again, Grok's like, sis, a handcrafted Tiffany style lamp such as this one that you're showing me should be about $1,000 to $3,000 tops. Tops. So why is it that we're looking at it being 20 to 50 times too much money listed on Wayfair? I mean, is this a lamp lighting up the whole neighborhood? Like, what's so special about it? I don't get it. $66,000 for a lamp. Yep. Who's buying this shtick they're selling? Are you? Oh, and guess what? Every single one of these listings says only one in stock. Hmm. To me, that sounds like a really clever way to control who's buying these overpriced items. If you ask me, where there's smoke, there is always fire. Now, let's talk about something that really has me shook because it just doesn't make sense. On April 8th, John Hart from Open the Books spilled some major tea. This was after the USAID's government spending was unveiled, right? So it showed that the Biden administration spent $4.6 billion, billion with a B, on furniture for government offices in the years 2020 to 2022. Does anyone remember what that time was like? Let's just think back for a moment. Yep. So, you guys, this was during a pandemic when federal buildings were a ghost town and everyone was being demanded to work from home.
Fiscal year 2021, executive agencies have spent more than $4.6 billion on furniture alone. That amount could buy 9.2 million American families a modest $500 kitchen table. During the peak years of the COVID emergency, from 2020 to 2022, agencies spent $3.3 billion on furniture, even as work migrated to Zoom. The SEC managed to spend $700,000 furnishing a single conference room in New York. And social distancing guidelines failed to keep even the Centers for Disease Control from buying solar-powered picnic tables with charging ports that by their own rules should have sat unoccupied. And an added burden for taxpayers is that many spaces are in long-term disrepair, as we mentioned before. Federal buildings need $370 billion in fixes.
These people were not working in their offices, and who's spending that much money on empty offices to fill them with furniture? Yeah, so Hart also said that the money could have bought 9.2 million American families a $500 kitchen table. Like, what the heck? Why is our taxpayer money going towards spending of $4.6 billion on government furniture during a time when no one's using it? It's wild.
How the government spends Americans' hard-earned money, including this chart behind me here, shows a disgusting amount of federal spending on furniture, which is what you talked about. So how did you go about finding the Biden administration spent about $1 billion per year on furniture while federal buildings sat empty during COVID and federal workers worked from home?
Yeah, what we do, Chairman, is we have access to all federal spending through usaspending.gov, and that's a bill that I helped pass back in 2006. So we're able to do keyword searches and look at furniture, look for vendors even, and identify and keyword search things like recliners to identify and understand how much the federal government is spending on furniture. And it's really a scope of government problem issue, as I mentioned in my opening statement, is that when we decide to have a large scope, there is going to be a big cost of furniture. So it's a very useful way to think about and assess whether we ought to have this number of federal buildings.
Yeah,
in the first
Mr. Hart,
place.
we appreciate those efforts. In 2021, the CDC spent almost $250,000 on solar-powered picnic tables. The CDC at the time was telling people to socially distance with masks and basically forcing a vaccine that many Americans didn't want. So what use would its employees have for this new picnic table that has quite the price tag?
Yeah, it's quite expensive, and the social distancing guidelines suggested they shouldn't be seated at that table while they were spending $237,000.
Look at those seats. Look at those seats. That's not social distancing.
No, they're quite close. There's a close proximity of those seats to the other person.
Yeah, real quick, I've just got short amount of time yet. I'd like to ask, just basically, just for the general audience, is $238,000 spent on solar-powered picnic tables at the CDC appropriate? I think the American people thinks that's disgusting. Is $700,000 spent by the SEC for their New York regional office conference room appropriate of taxpayer dollars? I don't think so. What about $6.5 million spent on high-end furniture to redecorate the EPE office? No. And then $284,000 in Herman Miller furniture for FEMA's headquarters conference center, an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars? I would argue not. I'm definitely over time, so thank you, gentlemen.
Here's where it gets juicy. This furniture spending happened at the exact same time as the 2020 Wayfair scandal. Coincidence? I'm dying to know which furniture store the government was shopping at. Was it Wayfair? I mean, billions on furniture when everyone's working from home? That's sus AF. Bottom line, I'm just saying, a major retailer like Wayfair, with all of their third-party sellers, could totally be a front for something shady. I mean, let's talk real talk. Picture this. Someone lists $1 million rug, and someone buys this rug with dirty money. And boom, that money is clean cash through a legit business. Trafficking, money laundering, you name it. Wayfair can just claim, oh, just a glitch. And we're supposed to be like, sure, Jan, whatever you say. Let's start connecting the dots. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. Crazy overpricing, cream whippers, lamps, rugs. I mean, prices that just make 0 sense. One in stock trick. So every one of these weird listings has the only one left in stock. To me, this is a perfect strategy for targeting specific buyers. And then there's the third-party chaos. So Wayfair's third-party seller model is a hot mess, right? So bad actors could list anything, and then Wayfair has plausible deniability as the front of the business. And then there's all the bad vibes, right? So I'm sure you've heard it before. If you haven't, feel free to look it up. Reddit's full of people saying that Wayfair is a scam, late deliveries, missing orders, you name it. Something's just off with this business. Like, I personally have a sister-in-law that bought a table through Wayfair, and it was just crazy for her to try and get it on time. It came like broken, and then they had to reship it. Like, it was just a total mess, such chaos. So with a reputation like that, it's very odd. It's very odd. Look, I'm not saying it's definitely human trafficking or money laundering, you know, but what if it's not just a conspiracy theory? What if there's a shadow government? Yeah, I know, I just went there. I know some people don't like it, but these people could be using platforms like Wayfair to move money or worse. We need the authorities to investigate this, like yesterday. But here's the thing, the government, especially the CIA, has connections to, a history of working with the cartels and the mob and, these shady businesses to be able to get some of their money to run some of their schemes. So, they're not above doing illegal things to get to their bottom line, whatever that bottom line is, right? So they could be aware of what's happening, but still using it to their advantage and not busting it, so to speak. Well, that's it for today's video, Psych Squad. What do you guys think? Why did the government drop $4.6 billion on furniture during a lockdown? Is Wayfair just glitching? Or is it something nefarious going on? Are these $1 million rugs innocent or straight up shady? Drop your theories in the comments. I'm reading all of them. And if you love this deep dive, smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss my next video. And let's always keep it real. And as always, stay psyched out. Catch you next time. Bye.